Hey guys, what's up? It's Vega Cutie, and today we're going to discuss some of Monster High characters' backstories. If you're interested to know what some of your favorite Monster High characters' backstories are like, then keep on watching. I'm warning you, it's going to be very interesting, somewhat sad, and pretty exciting.
I'm Dracula's daughter, Draculaura. Oh, don't be afraid. I'm a vegetarian. My boyfriend, Clawdeen Wolf, is the opposite. But I guess werewolves just love to chew on bones. His sister, Clawdeen Wolf, and Frankie Stein are my two BFFs. Best freaky friends forever. My ghouls and I love to show our school spirit, shop till we drop, and generally, hang out. You've got to be a ghoul on the go to keep up with my freaky fab friends.
Did you know that Draculaura was adopted and Dracula isn't her biological father? Draculaura wasn't born a vampire, she was born human to two human parents in Romania in 412 AD, as the daughter of Centurion. Her mother's name was Camilla and her father's was Gaius. Gaius was a soldier in a battle and unfortunately he couldn't make it. After some time, Camilla made her way to the province of Dacia, which in modern days partially overlaps with Transylvania, where Draculaura's mother became a housekeeper of Dracula. After some time, Draculaura was born in Dracula's castle. The name she was given by her mother was just Laura, but to honor Dracula into saving her and her daughter's life, Camilla gave Laura her second name, Draculaura. Dracula cared for Camilla after her husband's tragedy, as Gaius's great-great-grandfather Trajan had befriended Dracula. Camilla was unafraid of Dracula and quickly they became close. The two fell in love, although Camilla refused Dracula's offers to turn her into a vampire. One day though, both Camilla and Draculaura were sick with the plague, while Dracula was on a business trip. When he returned, the tragedy unfortunately had hit Camilla already, and so he turned Draculaura so he wouldn't lose her too, since Dracula loved her as her own daughter. They eventually had to flee and come to America, and after some time, Draculaura, Headmistress Bloodgood, and Rebecca's father Hexica's team opened the school called Monster High.
Greetings and salutations. I'm Frankie Stein, daughter of Frankenstein. What makes me me? I'd say it's my killer style. Oh, and probably my voltageous bolts. When I'm nervous or excited, I tend to spark. Ever since I became the new ghoul at school, every day's been a monster adventure. Thank ghoulness I have my best ghoul friends to help me figure it all out. So much has happened, but don't take my word for it. Here, scream for yourself.
Being only 15 days old, Frankie didn't have a lot of experience. But over the years, we all saw their journey with their ghoul friends through the Monster High movies and webisodes. Then you can click in the up right corner to find out more about Frankie.
Clawdeen Wolf here, pleasure to greet you. I am one fierce fashionista. Think of me as a wolf in chic clothing. I come from a big family. We werewolves run in packs. My brother Claude is even dating my ghoul friend Draculaura. Around the full moon, things get pretty hairy for me. All my senses get sharp. I am a wicked fast runner too. You could say I've got a competitive streak in general. And you can see why. I've got the track record to prove it.
Clawdeen is 15 years old. She is the daughter of the werewolf. Did you know that her middle name is Lucia? It's interesting because we don't see a lot of Monster High characters with middle names. Like Frankie, Clawdeen doesn't have a lot of backstory, but there are some interesting things that she's able to do. As a werewolf, transform or have a human form. She comes from a really big family with many children, among which are Claudia, her oldest sister, Claude, her older brother, and Helene, her younger sister. It's interesting to know that Helene is actually a triplet, and she's the youngest of her two brothers, the older two being Haldon and Hallie. And let's not forget Halminton and the youngest of the family, Clonner.
Lagoona Blue here. I'm a monster exchange student from down under, specifically the Great Scarier Reef. I'm having a scary good time playing volleyball, diving, and surfing. If there's water involved, I'm a natural. I can even talk to sea creatures. I do have to use a ton of moisturizer on land to keep myself from drying up. I may be a fish out of water, but my ghoul friends Draculaura, Frankie, and Clawdeen make me feel right at home. Check out some of our fantastic adventures together since I hit dry land.
Lagoona Blue is 15 years old. She is the daughter of the sea monster. Lagoona grew up in the Great Scary Reef. She grew up being one of the most acclaimed surfers of the reef. She has a supportive big family. Back at home, she was an aqua dancer and top performer alongside Calamari, who was Lagoona's best friend at the time. Calamari started to be envious of Lagoona and her success. One day, Cala sabotaged Lagoona's important performance. That event left Lagoona with severe stage fright. Later, she moved to Scamerica and started attending Monster High.
I'm Cleo De Nile, daughter of the mummy, Egyptian princess. I was perfectly preserved in mummy wraps. And now, I am an eternal teen queen. My boyfriend, Deuce Gorgon, and I are the it couple at Monster High. Don't be gel. Okay, be gel, be very gel. When I'm not preparing to rule the world, I am leading the Fear Squad. Trust me, keeping my goals in line can be as challenging as running a dynasty. See for yourself how freaky fabulous I am.
When you hear the word mummy, some people think of the monster wrapped in linen bandages. However, a mummy is technically a body that has been preserved after it died. Cleo is the daughter of the famous monster, the Mummy. Cleo De Nile was based on the queen of the Ptolemaic Egypt, Cleopatra. Her parents are Dediat and Ramses De Nile. She has an older sister, Nephra De Nile. During her teenage years, Cleo knew she would never become queen of Egypt, due to her older sister being first in line for their father's throne. The De Niles are a royal family which lost its throne due to the betrayal by people the family trusted. Ramses's brother, Pilas De Nile, planned a siege against his family and plotted to overthrow Ramses by having him and his men murder his family. Luckily, Ramses managed to kill Pilas's man and overpower his brother, and ultimately he and his daughters took shelter in a tomb. He revealed mummy wraps which he and his daughters wore, which ultimately put them under a sleeping curse. This led the family being mummified and entombed for nearly 6,000 years, from which Cleo emerged with a severe case of fear of the dark. Nephra was talking to her corpse flower. Amanita had the ability to get through the gap and promised to return with help. She never did, and the family eventually got out of their own. Years later, the family has relocated to New Salem, United States of Scamerica. At last, a question a lot of Monster High fans may ask is, where is Cleo's mother? And the answer to that question is that unfortunately it wasn't revealed, so we don't have any information about her and what happened before, after, or during those long years. There might be a lot of interesting theories about Cleo's mom. What do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments.
1,000 different stories in a place like this. That's where I come in. Name's Spectra. I report the news. The truth is always out there, and I'm the slick sister that'll find it. I've been in this racket longer than I can remember, and I thought I'd seen it all, until he walked into my life. I knew this flame fatale was trouble the minute I saw him. Hiya, handsome. Got a light? Life in Monster High for you. The name's Spectra, and I report the news.
Because Spectra Vondergeist is a ghost, she is trapped within the body of the age she died. She's 16 years old and she's an immortal. We know from the Haunted movie that before she moved to Monster High, she lived in the ghost world. She mentioned about her death in Monster High Frights on webisode that she was once a human whose family suffered from a tragic accident. According to Spectra's diary, she comes from royalty. She says, I come from royalty. Of course, my father was next in line for the throne of a large and powerful kingdom. But my jealous uncle plotted against him, and we had to go into exile. Sadly, my father and mother were forced to take jobs from below their station in life to support us. It's all quite tragic, of course, and I'm still debating if I should add in the part about my long-lost love who still haunts our ancestral castle awaiting my return, or my family's daring escape across enemy territory in the dead of night during the storm of the century. It's likely that she made up the story because she is known to change and exaggerate in order to create fake stories and rumors. Gulia found an old newspaper about Spectra's family's past. The headline of the paper in front of her read, "The Real Vondergeists." It was my family's story. I had forgotten. Oh my soul. I must have broken down because the next thing I knew, Gulia was patting me on the back and I was soaking her shoulder with ectoplasmic tears. I couldn't stop for a while, And when I did, Gulia just looked me in the eye and said in zombie, "Your secret is safe with me." I guess now I understand. So yeah, it is possible that Spectra may have made up the whole family story about them being royal, although it wasn't explained what exactly happened in her past, but we know that her past was tragic and that something tragic happened to her family.
My apologies. Sometimes I only hear half of what you say, and it's up to my artistic side to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, I mean, come on, 3 boys. I don't even have one.
On this episode of MH True Monster Stories, Toralei Stripe.
Toralei Stripe, one of the most infamous students at Monster High. This werecat's vengeance strikes fear in the hearts of even the toughest Monster High students. What makes this cantankerous kitty purr? To answer that, my friends, we must go back, all the way back to the beginning.
Toralei Stripe was born as the smallest of a litter of 6. She was abandoned as a kitten and left on the streets. It's unknown what happened to Toralei's birth parents, but Toralei's siblings got adopted soon enough by a troll couple, as Toralei was left to fend for herself. Being an adaptive kitty, Toralei did just that until her mid-teenage years. She was arrested for delinquency and she was sent to the pond. There she met the Weircat twin sisters, Melody and Persephone. She worked her way up to the pond's food chain alongside her beasties. One day, the Weircat trio received a visit from Headless Headmistress Bloodgood of Monster High, who invited them to enroll in her school. And the Weircat trio accepted the headmistress's offer. Since then, Toralei started living with Headless Headmistress Bloodgood.
Same rules apply. We find out who runs things, then we show them who's boss. After that, we ghouls will rule the school.
So who is Toralei, my friends?
If you don't want to miss out on interesting things and you want to see more Monster High dolls, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Thanks for watching!